All right, here we are. Drop the mic. How's it going?
Going well. Why don't you tell everybody where you're recording from today?
We are supposed to be coming from Miami, but we had a flight cancellation, so we pivoted. Got to stay nimble. Phoenix, lovely Phoenix, Arizona, in the desert here. So yeah, another playoff spot. We went from two playoff spots. Almost got to go to the Miami game tonight, which would have been cool. But
That would have been awesome, but
yeah,
maybe you can make it to the Suns game on what is that, Sunday?
too late.
Uh,
Try.
Too late. All right, so some good playoff action or play-in action so far. Yesterday we had a little reprieve, and today we jump back into the elimination games. So winner moves on to take the 8 seed, and the loser goes probably to Phoenix and relaxes on vacation. So you ready to dive into it? All right. So the first game, we got the Bulls at the Heat. The Heat are -5.5. Total is, I think, 209, if I'm reading that right. So low scoring game. The Heat are again favored, despite getting beaten up by the Hawks the other day. And I'll also note the Bulls and the Heat played 3 times this season, and the Bulls won all 3 games. They won by 8, they won by 10, and they won by 4. So, what do you think about that?
I'm loving the Bulls money line here, and I for sure love the 5.5 points. This game, this screams to me like take the Bulls in the points and put it with like DeMar DeRozan's point over, and like we got a winner.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Okay, well, I do have a play on both of these games parlayed together later, so I'll cover that at the end. But let's dive into the props. What do you like in this game?
All right, starting on the, I think this game just screams like the superstars. So that's kind of where I began and did my research here. I think this game, you have Jimmy Butler playing his original team. He's the type of guy who like loves a grudge, right? So I think this game just has his name written all over it. I think the prop I like the best. I was looking at his assists, 5.5 assists. It's -140. He's done it in 9 of 11 games this season on 2 days rest, and just in the game against Atlanta, the playing game against Atlanta, he had 9. So I thought this was a nice spot for him here to get it done. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think Jimmy is going to have a big game. He missed a lot of open shots in the previous game, so I don't see him doing that again tonight. I just looked up for reference, like last year, kind of where he was in the final game or the second to last game of each series, how he performed, because that's what he's known for. So game 4 against the Hawks, which was the last game he played in that series, he had 36, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists. Game 6 against the Sixers in the next series, 32, 8, and 4. Game 6, we were at that game actually. Game 6 against the Celtics, he had, I think this was 47, 9, and 8. He almost had a triple double. And then game 7 against the Celtics, the elimination game, he had 35, 9, and 1. So when I look at that, he scored 30 points in every one of those games. He also had a minimum of 8 rebounds. The part that was the most inconsistent was his assists. So with that in mind, I would personally lean more towards his points or his rebounds or his points and rebounds in this game. I think those might be better plays. But regardless, I think he's going to have a huge game tonight.
Yeah, I think so too. I like the scoring there. I was trying to find like the number is quite. What is it? 27.5.
Yeah, I think it was 26.5, something like that. 27.
Okay. I mean, it's high. I mean, normally Jimmy's line is 23.5, right? 22.5, 23.5, 24.5, maybe. So this is a little high, but obviously all the stats you just read off, like that's why, he takes on the scoring load in these high leverage games.
Yeah, and just for reference, he shot the ball 19 times in the last game, so he only shot 31%. On the regular,
do that again.
Yeah, on the regular season, he averages 54%. Right, so he went 6 for 19, still scored 21 points. So, if he just hit a couple of those bunnies, he would have easily cleared his point line. So,
yeah,
I think his points are solid. I think he probably scores 30 points tonight. But yeah, I think any of his stats are probably pretty good tonight.
Okay, so let's keep going off that right there. I like this parlay. So I'm going to get into DeMar DeRozan in a second because he's in a phenomenal matchup here. But if you just parlay Butler 25 points and DeRozan 25 points, you have a plus 240 parlay right there.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's actually the odds have been going up too. When I first looked at it this morning, it was like plus 225. And now I just checked before we went on that you get it at plus 240 right now.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. So I'll get into DeRozan here. So the reason I like him, he's in our shot creating wing / forward category. Against Miami since February 1st, averaging 28 points a game, 8 rebounds a game, and 6.5 assists per game. That's over 42 par. So I'm liking his points, 22.5.
Yeah.
Minus 120. What?
No, I said, yeah, I was on that as well. The 3 games this year against Miami, just to kind of dissect the averages a little bit, he had 37, 24, and 24. The 37, Levine didn't play in that game. So let's throw that one out. But still, the other 2, he cleared this 22.5 point line in what is really a much less meaningful game. I know you got a little bit more, but I'll just throw this one more stat out. In games where he plays 38 minutes or more, he's 19 for 23 covering this, and he's going to play 40 minutes tonight, assuming this is a close game. So I love that play. That was probably my favorite play. I just think he's the best matchup out of all these tonight, and you're getting a discount on him because Levine has just been kind of the star of late, but
he has. But honestly, I think those lines should be flipped tonight. I think Levine should be at 23.5, and DeRozan should be at 26.5. But or whatever it is. So he's also done. I know you called that all 3 games against Miami this season. He also did it in 2 of 3 last season. So he's 5 of his last 6 games against a almost the same.
Yeah, pretty similar
last year. Yeah.
Pretty similar.
And his team's also the same as well. It's not like the usage is different than it was last year. So, I love everything about DeRozan in this game. I like his rebounds too. He's also done it in 5 of his last 6 against Miami. 5 of his last 6 in playoff games. So over 4.5 rebounds for him at minus 140, I think is pretty good. And his assists in the 3 games against Miami this season, his assist line is also 4.5. He's had 10, 5, and 9 in his 3 games against Miami this season. So obviously the 10 was without Levine, but 5 and 9 in the 2 games with Levine. So, and all that being said, his par at 32.5, since, each individual one looks good, I think those are also good. All 3 games against Miami, 39, 34, and 52.
Yeah. Yeah, I typically don't love the par when the points are dominating the par, but at the same point, you could even do something like you could play all 3 and just split the units up across all 3 points, then rebounds, then assists. He could easily hit all 3 of those. So I think those are good. Good. Very nice. All right. Anybody else on this game? I had one more. Yeah.
You have one more? Was it the one you posted up? We posted up to Twitter earlier?
No, I'll mention that real quick. I don't even have all the stats on it, but Bam Adebayo, 2.5 assists was what we posted up on Twitter earlier.
Yeah.
The real value of that post was just showing you got to shop around, right? At DraftKings, that was minus 150. At FanDuel, it was minus 170. So
yeah,
make sure you're using the props.cash odds finder to to find the best odds before you place the bet.
Yeah.
But
think,
yeah, go ahead.
No, I just that 2.5 assists. He's done it in 12 of 13 games on 2 days rest. So I like that as well. Can I guess your other play? Because I have a feeling I know what it is.
I would be impressed if you got this. Go ahead.
Pat Bev over 5.5 points.
No, no, but it was a pat.
Okay.
Go ahead. Do you like Pat Bev over 5.5?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do. I thought you were going to be on this. He's done it in 7 of his last 8 playoff games. He missed in that game against Toronto, but Toronto's not a good matchup for him. I don't think. And obviously, he was on a different team in those 8 playoff games from last season. He was on Minnesota. But I just think it's a great matchup. He's got to hit 2 threes, right? I mean, you love these ones. And he played Miami fairly recently, a month ago, March 18th, and had 17 in that game. I didn't do digging to see who was out for the Bulls in that game, but I think he also cleared it one other time with 6 points at the beginning of the season.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, in December he had 6, January had 4, and for both of those, yeah. And then the only game on the Bulls he had 17 points. So that's not bad. That's not bad. Yeah, I mean, he gets plenty of open looks. Right, he had 4 3-point attempts in the previous game in only 26 minutes. So they kind of teams leave him open because he's really not a very good shooter. Yeah. But he'll get his looks, and he could easily drain 2 and just be done with this. So that's nice. Yeah. I like that. That's sneaky. Yeah. Okay,
what do you got?
All right, so I got the other Pat Williams, 1 steal, very juicy, minus 165. So, consider this to maybe pair it with something else, Bulls plus 5.5 points or something like that. But 9 of 10 games he's hit this in a row. And versus Miami, he's played Miami 4 times in his career, and he's had a steal in every single one of his games. And Miami they only had 8 turnovers in the previous game, which is kind of a little bit north of the league average, but they were super sloppy with the ball. They probably should add more. So if they come out coughing up the ball like that against good defenders, I could definitely see Pat Williams. I could see Caruso. I could see Pat Bev, like all those guys getting steals. So he was the one that I focused on.
Yeah. All right. I like that. I meant to ask you, where are we at with Lowry and Gabe Vincent in this game? Are they playing? I see they're still questionable. Because the reason I'm asking is you have a great we were on it the other game with FVV, primary ball handlers against Chicago is an incredible matchup. So all that being said, what I think is I think one of those 2 guys is a nice spot here. But if for some reason, and I think Lowry probably more so than Vincent, maybe doesn't play this game, Jimmy Butler becomes your primary ball handler, right? So that assist prop, maybe you do go back to that possibly. Once these lineups come out, I think that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, I mean they both played the previous game, so I don't see any possibility that they don't play tonight. I don't know why. Neither of them got hurt in the previous game, right? They just got nagging injuries. But in an elimination game, you think they're going to sit them? No way. So Vincent's projected to start, and then I could see Lowry coming in.
All right.
Lowry could either go off for 30 again or score 4 points.
Yeah. You do have this matchup, though, Lowry and DeRozan, the old teammates, now on old teams, now on new teams.
That's fun. Only you were excited about that. All right, so we're good on this game?
Yeah, let's move on.
All right, cool. Next game, we got the Thunder at the T-Wolves. T-Wolves are also minus 5.5 at home. Total is 227.5 on this game. These teams played 4 times in the regular season. Thunder won once, and the T-Wolves won the other 3 games. The margin of victory was 7, 10, 7, and 2. So all, again, relatively close games, just like the first matchup. No game was won by more than 10 points. So that's a little tease for my parlay later. But Go ahead.
Someone's liking these 5.5 point spreads, I think.
I do, because these teams are very evenly matched. I think 5.5 points is too much for the home teams. So
absolutely, I love it in Chicago, but we'll get to it in a minute. Let's do the
well, and especially keep in mind, like, basketball is all about momentum, right? You got the two teams that are underdogs are the teams that just won, and the two teams that are giving up points just lost, right? So a lot of momentum for the underdogs here. But go ahead. Yep, props. Go for it.
All right. I'm feeling a big bounce back game for the Ant-Man here. I think he was brutal in that Lakers game, and I don't think that continues here. Shot creating wings against Oklahoma City, averaging almost 31 points per game since February 1st. That's on 6.5 3-point attempts per game, which I like for Edwards. So I like his points, 27.5 points. He's done it in 6 of his last 7 games on 2 days rest. And I just got to read these out to you, because it's like, I know you're like, you don't like him because of his inconsistency, but listen to this on 2 days rest: 32, 32, 32, 19, 34, 32, 29.
Wow.
A lot of 32s in there. So
I like that.
I thought that was pretty good. And then I also was looking at his rebounds. He's done it in 3 of his last 4 against OKC. 11, 3, 11, and 8. And those last 2 I read off, 11 and 8, were at the beginning of the season with Cat in the lineup there. And then he had 8 against the Lakers in the playing game. So that was another one I liked for Edwards.
What's his line? What's his rebound line? 6.5. Wow.
Yeah.
It's clear that by a lot. I like that. Cool. Good. Anything else?
I think I also, if the 27.5 points scares you, the 2.5 made threes, I think, is also a nice play here. So at minus 135, he's done it in 7 of his last 8 playoff games. The only miss was that playing game against the Lakers when he shot 2 for whatever teams it was. And this is the best. Ready? He's had 4+ made threes in 6 of those 8 playoff games.
Yeah. Yeah. What I like when he only had 9 points in that game, but what's good to look at is volume, right? He shot 17%, in terms of field goals, and including 0 for 9 from 3. So the volume's there, right? All he's got to shoot. Yep. This guy is on the season is a 37% 3-point shooter, right?
If he shoots that, he gets it. Yeah.
So all he's got to do is shoot his average. So yeah, I like that.
And I think I don't know if you're getting that at a discount from one bad game, but I think typically he shines in these games. I mean, look at him in that playoff series against Memphis last season. I think that was an aberration, that game against the Lakers. Obviously shooting, 0 for 9 from 3. So I think look for a nice bounce back spot for him. I also like him. This cash the other day, I was on the SGA Ingram 30-30 parlay, which wasn't a Twitter post, but it was on the pod. I like Edwards and SGA here 30-30. It's plus 240. Same as Butler DeRozan 25-25. So I might think about putting all 4 of those together and
boy,
cooking up something real nice.
Yeah, I talked you out of that one the other day, so go for it. Go for it today.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right, cool. Let's see. Do I have anybody on the T-Wolves side? Yeah, I liked Taurean Prince tonight. 9.5 points. The reason why I liked him is he played against OKC twice this year and had 11 points in each of those games, right? And that was coming off the bench. So he's only had 10 points in 38% of the games this year, but in games without McDaniels, which were predominantly last year, and the previous game, playing game, he's 9 for 11, crossing 9.5 points, averaging 12 points. So he's, once he starts, he gets big minutes. And I think he'll get there tonight. I think he's good for a couple 3-pointers and a couple baskets. He'll get to 10 points.
he's going to get some extra run here. He's been playing pretty well,
Yeah,
and I think, Gobert's back, but he's still questionable. He's still listed as questionable, I think, right? I think he will play this game.
yeah. Gobert's going to play, but I think he's taking up McDaniel's minutes, not Gobert's minutes, right?
He's taken up, yeah, that's true.
So yeah, I mean, I think he played almost 40 minutes in the last game, so I wouldn't count on that. I think he's probably more in the low to mid 30s this game, but yeah, no, he played really well, so I could see him.
I think they're relying on his veteran experience. I think him and Anderson. I think is they're kind of Minnesota's leaning on those two guys here. So.
Definitely. All right. Anybody else on the T Wolves?
On the T Wolves, no. I just think. You want to get to OKC?
No, I have one more play on the T Wolves just to throw it out there. Okay. Gobert, 12.5 rebounds. So if he does play, he has played against OKC 3 times this year. He had 16, 15, and then 4. The game that he had 4, he got ejected from the game for getting in a fight kind of with, ironically, right? So this guy's got some anger issues, but anyway, I thought that was good value. I think he's good if he does play big minutes. I think he's good for at least.
OKC's got nobody to no size to put up against him,
Yeah, that's always been kind of the position that we've always targeted. So I think that's a good play. If we find out that he's definitively starting and we think he's going to play, 25 to 30 minutes, I think he's good for 14, 15 rebounds. So
yeah, I like that one. It's a high line, but I think that's no problem. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then OKC side, what do you like?
Not a ton. I'm just going to ride with SGA here. He got off to a super slow start in the last game. He ended up with 32 points, I think. But, that was all second half. So I think he maybe got those first game jitters out of the way or something. I liked his points and assists. He's done it in all 3 games against Minnesota this year. At 36.5. I think at 37.5, he missed the first game. So you might have to adjust this down to 36.5. But I just looked; it was minus 150. So not terrible. But the assist line is what I like here. So it's 4.5. The assist component I think is also nice, and maybe even on its own, it's 4.5. He's done it in 7 straight games against Minnesota. And he didn't get there in the game against the playing game against the Pelicans, but the 3 games prior to that, he had 7, 7, and 5, and he was playing monster minutes in those games to try to get into the playoffs. So I think this could be a nice little spot for him.
Yeah, I dove into him as well, and the only when I put his minutes up to I think 35 minutes, I'm doing it again right now. The only stat that really popped out was assists. Right? Yeah. So I think it was if he plays 40 minutes, which I think he will tonight. He's done that in 5 of 7 games this year. So I think I like that one. All right. So I also had a hard time finding players on the Thunder. I looked at everybody, but I got an under actually. I like Josh Giddey under 20.5 points, which is scary, right? Coming off of what he scored 30 or 31 points in the last game.
Yeah, but that's unusual for him.
Very unusual. He's only scored 21 points or more in 13 of 77 games this year. So that's 17% of games, right? So he doesn't get there. And then if I looked at even at 35 minutes, right? If he plays big minutes like he did last game, he's still only 4 for 18, which is 22%. So he usually doesn't score that much. So you might have an inflated line here. And if you've got, nerves of steel and want to go against one of the hotter players in the league, then it's probably a good play statistically. So I thought that was good on the underside. On the overside, I think he's also a good play for assists. 6.5 assists. He's done this in 14 of 18 games when he plays 35 minutes. So
I could see him deferring to SGA some more. He was so hot the last game.
Yeah.
But I could see him deferring to SGA to do the scoring, take on the scoring burden here, and look to play Nate. Yeah,
Definitely. Okay, cool. Any other player props before I wrap it up?
no,
All right.
that's it.
So the last was just to throw it out there. If you want to put both underdogs together and tease them up to get 10.5 points, so go from 5.5 to 10.5. 10.5 again would cover every single game that was played against any of these teams this year, the 7 games. You get plus 100.
Wow,
It's not bad, right? So I think in games where we actually think both underdogs could win, I think that's pretty nice to get 10.5 points. So
yeah, you take that one, and then you make sure you got enough in there to cover the 2 money line parlays. So
right.
There you go.
Yeah. Actually, the 2 money lines together. I looked at that as well. Plus 672.
Yeah. So you put a little bit on that. You cover your play with the plus 10 on each side.
Yep.
And then you get that you catch the upside if they both do it.
Exactly. So, all right, cool. I think that does it. We'll put some of these up on Twitter shortly, and enjoy the games tonight.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay.
Nice work.
See ya.
Bye.